Welcome to the On the Green with DFC. I'm Jason Gibble with Chris Etherington, taking a look at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am on DraftKings this week. A little bit different structure. I mean, going back to the career builder, I'll let you kind of touch on that for the people that don't know. It's just a little bit different from kind of the normal tournament.
Yeah, so basically, just like at the career builder, it's three courses. You've got the Monterey Peninsula, Pebble Beach, and Spyglass Hill. All three of these courses are just under 7,000 yards. All three are also par 72. And the cut line is going to be on a Saturday, just like the career builder. And also just like the career builder, you're going to look for guys making birdies because you know that all golfers are going to have at least 3 days playing for DraftKings.
And does that change your strategy a little bit, knowing that the cut line's pushed back a day? You get that extra round.
Just slightly. The strategy that I normally play with is go a little bit more balanced. For this type of event, I kind of like to go a little bit more stars and scrubs. Get two guys above 9K in your lineups if you can, and then try to find two guys under 7 that will make the cut and hopefully get you the birdies that you need. And yeah, that's pretty much it for what I look for these three courses.
And this seems like a larger field. Maybe I'm just missing over. Just maybe from last weekend, it seems like there's more names here in the group than what we usually see.
Yeah, you're looking at, I think, roughly around 150, something like that in the field. On a normal field event, it's usually around 140. This is a more popular event. You get just basically your main celebrities that you get, like Raymond Morrow and guys like that, just come out and play. And usually their day is on a Saturday. The TV coverage loves to just show those guys and won't show most of the pros playing unless they're at the top of the leaderboard. And yeah, that's probably the one unique thing about this tournament is the celebrities that like to play here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's always a fun one to watch. Yeah, Chris Berman's another guy I know they'll follow around at times. So getting into picks here, I mean, pricing was kind of a big topic last week. Do you think this week's a little bit more accurate?
I would say so. You got Speed as your number one target we're at the top at 12,000. I believe he's the first guy to reach 12,000 this year. And then if you go down the list, there's probably maybe one or two guys that are maybe a little on a cheaper side that you probably need to get an advantage of for this week. But other than that, yeah, I think DraftKings finally did something right for a change for this week. This last 2 or 3 weeks, the pricing was a little soft, I must say. So.
And that's good this week because, as you mentioned, there's kind of the stars and scrubs approach. You definitely it makes it easier, or well, tougher now a little bit, just because if it was easier, you'd be dealing with a lot of kind of similar lineups.
Right.
So, and now those guys, I mean, the top guys will say double digits pricing. I mean, you got Brent Snedeker, Jason Day, Jordan Spieth, Dustin Johnson. Obviously, Day and Johnson, coming off basically a rough outing last time out and let a lot of people down.
Yep. Yeah, that week I had Dustin as my core. Obviously, he let me down. This week, there's really no reason basically not to go back to him. Like the guy is just really good, and he just had a rough week, just like everyone else. So I'm just not going to regard his miscut. And again, his last 6 events, he had 4 top 10s. He's really solid all around. And with his course history here, I mean, he only has one missed cut in his last 7 tries. So, I mean, the other guys also have good course history, but you just kind of have to pick one, maybe another guy as well, and that's pretty much it.
And Snedeker seems, I mean, I don't know, maybe I just can't remember all that well, but 10K, I haven't really seen him at that price in quite some time, if he's ever even been that high.
Yeah, he's a little expensive, but he's one of those players that tend to play well in California. When you want to play Snedeker, you kind of want to play him on the West Coast. He tends to putt well on those type of greens, so he's probably going to be one of the guys that I'm going to be fading for the week, just because of his price. Another top guy that I'm going to be fading would be Jason Day. He's basically the mini Tiger right now. That's going to be his nickname for me. Like, he has a missed cut, 2 withdrawals in his last 6 tournaments that he's played. So, and you're taking a chance on a guy that's a little iffy right now. I believe he has back problems as well, just like Tiger, but not as severe.
Yeah, I mean, Jason Day is one of those guys, a bit soft, if he's not quite right, if there's even the slightest of any issue with him, he's a guy that I'm not looking at, especially at that high price tag.
Yeah, I mean, there was that one week where he went on the media saying that he felt sick, and then he ended up winning the tournament in that same week. And then he'll play basically halfway through the second round and he'll withdraw just like that. So he's the type of guy that he needs to be in form for me to play him. And right now he's just not in form at all.
Yeah, I'm not looking to use him, and there's a couple of guys here. I mean, John Rahm. I mean, another solid round last week out.
Yep.
You think the ownership is still going to carry through basically as long as he's hot?
Yeah, I think Rahm is becoming more like Fowler, where his ownership has like a floor. There's going to be 15 to 20% of people that's just going to auto click him in their lineups. Another guy to look at just below him is Hill at 93. His price went up from last week, but I mean, with his course history, I think that's the reason why. He has a win and 3 top 10s in his last 6 tries here. And for this recent form, he has a top 10 in his last 6 tournaments. So Phil's another top guy that I'm looking for this week.
Yeah, I know another guy that you like, based off your article, Matt Kuchar at 8,600. You're looking at quite a bit.
Yeah, last year he was known for making top 10s. He was really consistent last year. Last week it was his first tournament since the RSM Classic. So I didn't really have to look into him last week, but he just didn't show any rust when he played. Like, he was the first round leader, and then he was just hanging around basically for the rest of the week. So with that being said, I think at 8,600 is a fair price for Kuchar.
Yeah, I think so too. And out of the guys in that range, I feel a little bit safer with deploying him. With that being said, I mean, JB Holmes, Patrick Reed, Webb Simpson. Are you on any of those guys in that range?
Yeah, I really like Patrick Reed this week. He's one of the guys that I'm going to be picking a lot for the year, as long as his price stays where it is. He has a really good greens percentage. He's really close to 70%. And for his driving accuracy, is at 60%. And with all these three courses, they're all very tight. So if you're just off just slightly, then you're in a thick rough. For Reed's course history, he has like 2 top 10s in his last 4 times here, and 1 top 10 in his last 6 tournaments that he's played this year. So he's on form at 8,300. I really like him a lot.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, he was a guy that I looked at a little bit last week. Didn't do particularly too well, but this is a course that, as you said, better suits him. And with the course history, makes him a bit better play.
Yeah, and I think he let some people down maybe a little bit last week, so maybe his ownership will be slightly down as well.
Did you see Webb Simpson kind of continuing a nice run here? I mean, has had a solid opening out in, Hawaii. He was tied for 13th, second last week, obviously pushed the playoff. What do you feel about him this week?
I don't know, to be honest. Webb's course history is not solid. I think he's in his last 5 or 6 tries, I believe he's only made the cut 2 or 3 times. And when he's made the cut, it was barely inside the top 20. I don't know if his recent form is going to carry on. This is like his 3rd or 4th week in a row or something like that. And usually that's when the guys usually falter off. It's usually around the 4th or 5th week if they're playing that many in a row. So I kind of want to stay away because I know he's going to be popular, and I kind of want to say that he's going to miss the cut. So.
Yeah, I mean, he's played quite a bit, and as you mentioned, the course history not very good, and we kind of get to a range here where we kind of get some guys where you feel a little bit uneasy about them. I mean, a lot of missed cuts kind of in this range here.
Yeah, I saw Chaz Levy up there quite a bit. Like Castro was the guy that I picked last week. He went up to 7,900. I was very surprised on that, and he doesn't have really good course history here at all. So I want to stay away from him. Levy is pretty much the same type of deal. He's only made like 3 cuts here out of like 5 or 6 tries, and his recent form, I think I want to say he's missed probably around 3 or 4 cuts in his last 6 or 7 events. So those 2 guys are just way too expensive for me.
Yeah, I think so. And this is where it just gets a little bit messy for me. I'll definitely be referring to your article this week because, I mean, you like Sean O'Hara, who's, a little bit cheaper, 7,300. And you talk about, Ryan Armour as well.
Yeah, probably the one guy that's going to be very unique in my lineups is going to be Ryan Armour at 6,900. I mean, the guy's played here twice so far, and he's made the cut both times, and he was top 30 in both. So that's really good for a guy that's at 6,900. He's making value just like that. For his recent form, yeah, it's not great, but he has made 3 cuts in his last 6, 7 tournaments. So you have to like that. For his stats, I mean, he's a driving accuracy guy. He will hit the fairways, and then from there he'll hit the greens as well. He's been hitting his greens at 65%. So he's really solid.
Yeah, I mean, I like him quite a bit, and especially at that price. I mean, as you said, he hasn't been great, but certainly serviceable at that price tag.
Yeah, I mean, he's a pure tournament play. If you like to play tournaments, which I do, um, a guy just above him, Sean O'Hare, I would say that he's like a more of a cash play and a tournament play. At 7,300, he has not missed a cut in his last 7 tries here. He has 2 top 20 finishes. He has 2 top 10s in his last 6 events, and his screens are up there. He's close to 80%. So, and he's driving it well. I mean, you kind of have to like Sean O'Hare around the other guys.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think for me, a good cash game guy this week as well. I mean, he's just been really consistent here to start the year.
Yeah,
What guy right above him, Adam Hadwin's, been playing pretty well to kick things off, and not a bad price tag, kind of with the way he's been playing.
yeah, he's been hovering around that 7,000 mark all year so far, and I wouldn't mind playing him again this week. The dude is on form. Um, he's becoming one of the better Canadians on the tour. Um, his screens and his driving accuracy are getting up there towards the 65% mark, 70% mark, which is really solid. Definitely above average on the tour. And even though he has no course history here, he has 2 top 10s and 0 miscuts in his last 6 events. So hopefully his run will keep going, and yeah, and maybe his price will stay low.
Anyone else in that 7K range that you're looking at, or maybe you're not even looking to fade at all?
The 2 guys I'm looking at right now are William McGirt and Shane Lowry. McGirt's at 7,500. Shane Lowry's at 7,000. Lowry is the guy that I kind of look at his price and went, all right. Normally he's around 8,000, 8,200 mark, something like that in the field. And for some reason this week he's at 7,000. He is very consistent with his irons, hitting roughly 75%. He basically, he hasn't missed a cut in his last 6 tournaments. And also in those last 6 tournaments, he's finished in the top 20 twice. So that's really good. And also, he has made a cut in both appearances that he was playing here very recently. So that's also very good. At 7,000, that's all you want. You just want a guy making a cut. And the other guy, McGirt, same deal. I mean, his stats is really good on the board. The course history is okay. He has 1 top 20 with 3 miscuts. And then his last 6 events, he has 1 top 10 and 2 miscuts. So both those guys are on form, and they have very good, okay course history as well.
Yeah, and the only cut that I see here in the new year, I mean, the career builder, he didn't particularly play bad. It was just one of the higher scoring tournaments, and
Yeah, that just like for this week, you're just going to get a high scoring cut line, like 4 or 5 under, something like that. Especially if the weather is going to be really goodish this week. So.
Anyone else you like? I mean, as far as pump plays or anyone, 66, 65 that you maybe take a shot at?
I haven't really looked at anyone that low, not yet anyway. The other guy that's a little bit higher that I kind of like, he was from the Red.com tour, is Cody Ribble. He's won a tournament at the start of this wraparound season at the Shriners, I believe it was. He's pretty close at 70% in his greens. With zero course history, he's probably just going to be a tournament play. And he has 3 top 20s in his last 6 events, including that win.
Yeah, I mean, he's an interesting name this week, and I think a good throwing guy is probably going to get rather low ownership on.
Yeah, not too many guys know him that well. I would guess that he's probably going to be around 2 or 3%, if not lower, for the league.
And kind of talking ownership, I mean, where do you kind of see some of the higher guys being at? Maybe the top 3 guys that you see being the highest owned.
I want to say Spieth is going to definitely reach between 20 to 25% for ownership, just due to his course history. He has 2 top 10s in his last 4. And also his recent form. I mean, I looked at it and it was 5 top 10s in his last 6. So people are going to look at that. They're going to look at their course history. They're going to look at his stats. And they're going to say, okay, I'm playing him. They're probably not even looking at the other 2 if they're doing it that way.
Yeah, and Spieth, I mean, always that name factor. I mean, you just kind of plug and play if you're new to the game, And,
yeah, you'll see Spieth and it'll be like, yeah, I know him. Okay.
Yeah, plug him in.
Yeah.
So, and I'm in agreement. I think Rahm is probably another guy I'll toss out for some high ownership, just solely based off what he's doing of late, and it just become kind of a popular play right now.
Yeah, a lot of people love him for the year. I expect his ownership to be, I would say, 15 to 20, if not a little bit more this week. And that's going to be his floor for the remainder of the year, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, I think so too. Anyone else you want to talk about? I mean, price regardless.
How about Jim Furyk? I mean, I don't know what to make of Jim Furyk. He's at 7,500. He's basically the Matt Kuchar for this week. He hasn't played since the RSM Classic, and he finished 6th in that tournament. And he's like Kuchar. He's very consistent. He'll hit the fairways. He'll hit the greens, and he's the guy that will shoot, like 70, 69 each day, like it's nothing. The only thing that worries me is the rust for him. So I really don't know what to make of him just yet.
More just kind of a GPP dart throw at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you got guys like, McGirt right there, Padwin, O'Hare that you talked about right in that similar range.
Yeah, those other guys are going to be more popular than Furyk. I know people are going to play Furyk just because of the name value. But again, because of the rust, I may have to fade him for this week and see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, there's really, a guy playing his first tournament of the year, hasn't played in quite some time. No shame in really doing that at this point.
Yeah.
Who do you got kind of taking it? Who's your guy? I mean, you looking at Spieth basically with the guy, or do you think Dustin Johnson pulls through?
Yeah, I'm still gonna say I'm hoping Justin is gonna take it over for Spieth, and he's gonna be the guy that might win it. So I'm just gonna pick him over Spieth, and hopefully Spieth will shit the bed or something. Just make just a cut, and 30% of the people that have him will be so pissed. It's like, what the hell, right?
I mean, that's always fun. I mean, we saw it 2 weeks ago when both Johnson and Day went out the door.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
That was the crowd. If you're on Twitter, I mean, it's the chaos was insane.
Yeah, just reading the tweets on Friday night when it happened, it's just funny So
Good stuff. As far as a dark horse, you like anyone this week?
the dark horse, I'm going to say Matt Kuchar as my dark horse. He normally doesn't win. He'll get you your top 10, but being that this is his first time playing here since the U.S. Open in 2010, he finished sixth that year. So I'll say he'll get it done this week. He'll be my dark horse.
Yeah, I like that call. I kind of like Patrick Reed. I feel like he's a sneaky pick that could kind of run up and maybe run the table this week.
Yeah, I can see that as well.
That's going to wrap things up here. If you want to check out Chris's article, you can head on over to dailyfantasycafe.com, head into the PGA section, and good luck this week.